Hey guys, so in this workbook we've got different worksheets which represent the profit and loss data for different countries. We then want to summarize these figures into continental profit and loss figures. So we want continental profit and losses figures for Europe, Africa, North America and South America, and also we want to know the profit and losses for all regions as a whole, so for all of our countries combined together. We'll also want to say combine the continents North America and South America into one single continent called America, and we want the summary values to update automatically. We'll also want to add individual countries to each continent and again see our summary totals update automatically. We also want to, hypothetically speaking, move one country from one continent to another continent and see the summary totals adjust accordingly. And also we'd want to say remove a country from a continent and again see our summary totals adjust automatically. So all of these adjustments which I'm talking about will be done for you automatically without you having to enter any adjustments to your formula, just via the use of you using the 3D sum function and using blank placeholder tabs which you would insert within your worksheet. So this dynamic 3D sum function will enable you to carry out all of these flexible adjustments to your P&L data figures very quickly and very easily, which will allow you to carry out in-depth analysis of your data. So to start off with, we need to first make sure that each worksheet has the same structure, i.e., in other words, the profit and loss structure needs to be the same across each worksheet. So what this means is that we've got to make sure that the data is contained within the same columns. So in our case, we've got column A and B which contain data, and also there has to be the same number of rows as well for our profit and loss data within each worksheet. So if you go across from worksheet to worksheet, we can see that the profit and loss data table is located in the same position. So they've all got two columns, A and B, and they've all got 7 rows, 1 to 7. So once we've confirmed that, we need to start inserting blank worksheets. I will call these blank worksheets placeholder sheets. So the first placeholder sheet I will insert before UK. I will call this placeholder sheet A. I will also insert one after Germany. The reason being UK and Germany both lie within Europe, so I want to enclose it within those two blank placeholder sheet tabs. I also want to include one after South Africa because I want to enclose the African countries, Zimbabwe and South Africa, between placeholder sheets B and C. I also want to create another placeholder sheet called D, and I will insert it after the USA. So this will then enclose the North American countries within C and D. And then I will add our final placeholder sheet called E after Brazil, and this will enclose Argentina and Brazil within placeholder sheets D and E. So with that done, we go to our profit and loss data for the UK. For example, we can see that in the UK, the first data figure lies in cell B1. So the first data of the P&L table lies in cell B1, and that's the same across all of our countries. So in all of our countries, the first data lies in cell B1, which is at the top of our table. So we then go to our summary sheet, and now we can begin with the 3D sum. So we enter the equal sum function as normal. We then go to our blank placeholder sheet A, and remember the first data in each worksheet, in each profit and loss for each country lies in cell B1. So we select cell B1, we then press and hold down Shift, and then we go across to our last placeholder sheet E, we click on that, and then we close brackets, and as you can see, what the formula has updated, and what it's essentially doing is that it's summing across all of the data in all of the tabs which are enclosed within and inclusive of worksheet tabs A and E. So with that done, we then press enter, and there we have the total sales figures for all of our countries combined. We double click on this filler, and this populates the rest of our table. So these are the profit and loss data figures for all of our countries. So if we go across and add each of the sales figures, cost of sales figures, etc., all the way down to profit after tax for each individual country, if we add it, we'll get these figures on the summary sheet. Now we've done our all regions profit and loss table. Now that that's been populated, we can now move on to our Europe profit and loss table. So we want to get the P&L data for European countries only. So a very easy way of doing that is we just copy the formula which we generated in cell B1 for all regions. We copy that by clicking onto the formula bar. So we go into the formula bar and we copy that specific formula. We then escape. We go to cell B11 of the Europe P&L table. We go back into the formula bar. We paste it. Now we need to adjust the formula. Because the European countries lies within tabs A and B, we've got to change the E to B. And this will sum across all of the figures lying within these 4 tabs. Because A and B are both blank worksheets, it essentially will only add together the P&L data for UK and Germany. We then press enter, and that gives us the profit and loss. This gives us the sales for European countries, and if we drag down, we get the other figures being populated automatically. So to test that, we've got profit after tax of 1,120 for European countries. If we sum 880 for UK and 240 for Germany, we get 1,120. Now we move on to Africa. So again, because we've already copied the original formula from the all regions table, we go to our formula bar, we just press Ctrl V to paste our the original formula. Now we need to adjust it for African countries. So because African countries lie within tabs B and C, we've got to change the A and E to B and C. So we change the A to B, and the E, we change it to a C, and we press enter. And then we double click on the filler, and that fills up the rest of our table. We do the same thing for North America. We go to the formula bar, we then paste in the original value, and because the North American countries, which are Canada and USA, because they lie within C and D, we then have to change the A and E to a C and a D, and we press enter, and that updates our North American country P&L data. And we do the same thing with South America. Control V, because South American countries lie between tabs D and E, we change the A to D, and then we press enter, and that's our South American P&L data table updated automatically. And say for instance we want to add a new African country between the placeholder sheets B and C, and we want to call it Botswana. So let's create a copy of South Africa. We will insert it before the placeholder sheet C, and we will call it Botswana. B-O-T-S-Wana. And now you would then update your P&L data table with the relevant figures. So if we go back to our summary sheet, we should see that the African table, the African P&L summary table, should have consolidated the figures for Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Botswana. So we've got 600 for Zimbabwe, 80 for South Africa, and 80 for Botswana. That gives us a sum total of, I believe it will be 760. If my maths is correct, I go to summary, and as you can see, the African subtotal for profit and loss has updated to 760. Next, if we want to say remove a country, so in our example, let's say we remove the UK from the European continent, so we'll move it outside. So if we want to say remove a country completely from our model, we'd have to move it either before the tab A or we have to move it after the tab E so it does not get incorporated within the calculation. So we're going to move the UK all the way here after tab E, and what we should get now is that our Europe summary total should reflect only the values for Germany. So we've got here 240 for profit. For Germany, we go to the summary total, and again, that's updated automatically. Say, for example, we want to, I don't know, move Germany to Africa, just as an example. We want to move the figures in Germany and include it within Africa. So I'm going to move Germany and include it between the tabs B to C, which contain the African countries. What we should have now is that the European figures, the European summary totals, should now be 0, and the African total should increase by the value of Germany's figures. So when I go to summary total, we see Europe is 0, and the African figures have updated automatically. And another example is, say we want to join two continents together, or two categories together. So in our case, we want to say join North America with South America and create a single profit and loss summary total for the American continent as a whole. What we would do is, if we go to our tabs here, our worksheet tabs, we can see that the tab D is in effect, it's separating the North American countries from the South American countries. So we want to remove this separation. So we move the tab D after Brazil. And if we do that, what we'll see is that we've got all of the American countries within C and D. So in effect, that becomes a single continent. So if we go to our summary sheet, we should see that the South American continent, the value should turn to 0, and the North American figures would increase by the values of Argentina and Brazil. So if we go to our summary sheet, the South American values have gone to 0, and the North American values have increased to include the figures for Argentina and Brazil. And now what you would do is you would change the title from North America to just America, and there you've got your consolidated P&L figures for the American continent as a whole.